എന്തു പറ്റി സുഹൃത്ത്? ലോണിന് പിറകെ ഓടുകയാണല്ലേ?
അതെ.
മുത്തൂറ്റ് ഫൈനാൻസ് ലോൺ അറ്റ് ഹോം സർവീസിലേക്ക് വിളിക്കൂ. ഉടൻ ഗോൾഡ് ലോൺ നേടൂ വീട്ടിലിരുന്നു കൊണ്ട്. വിളിക്കൂ 1-800-202-1212 എന്നിട്ട് ജീവിതത്തിൽ മുന്നേറൂ.
Shall we get going? The speakers are all here, I guess, right? Yeah. Yeah, Prajit, can you mute everybody, please?
You can request the speaker also to come online.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, sir. Good. Welcome to KMA. Good evening and welcome to this second workshop of the KMA-MSME forum activities that was kickstarted 2 months back by our Honorable State Industries Minister, Sri P. Rajiv. Let us begin the session with a minute silence and pray to Almighty that we all remain safe and healthy and the whole world overcomes this pandemic times. Continue to be seated wherever you are and close your eyes for a minute. Thank you and good evening once again to our chief guest of the evening, Sri Hari Kishore S. IAS, Director Industries and Commerce, Government of Kerala, Sri Nishant, Deputy Director Industries Department, and all invited guests who have joined to attend this second workshop of the KMA-MSME Forum. MSME Forum is one of the most important activities of KMA, and a big majority of our members belong to this category of business, either as managers or stakeholders in some way. Every year we conduct a series of activities under the aegis of this forum at various locations convenient to the congregation of the MSMEs, and also do multiple workshops and such programs of utility to this all important segment. We have Mr. Balagopal as a chairman for the KMA MSME Forum, and he will start the proceedings of the evening with a formal welcome address. Mr. Balagopal, or Bala as we call him, had a 38-year career with State Bank of India in India and even abroad in various leadership positions till he retired last year as their Assistant General Manager at Cochin. He is currently working as a CEO of Jackson's Veneers and Panels Private Limited, and he is an elected member of the KMA Managing Committee. At present, he is visiting the United States, not with the Prime Minister, but before that itself, and is joining us from there thanks to the online platforms available and the virtual meeting modes. Inviting Bala to offer the welcome address.
Thank you, President Madhav. Chief guest of the day, Mr. Hari Kishore S. IAS, past presidents, members of the management committee, KMA members, registered delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It was on 24th June, the activities of MSME Forum of KMA got inaugurated by Sri P. Rajiv, Honorable Minister of Industries and Kaya, Government of Kerala. On the same day, we had a panel discussion by Mr. Uday Kumar, Director NSIC, Mr. Biju, General Manager DIC Ernakulam, and Mr. Adi Keshavan, Chief General Manager, State Bank of India, discussing about the various schemes and facilities on offer for the MSMEs. Mr. Hari Kumar, our Management Committee member and Managing Director TCC, moderated the discussion. On 27th July, the first of the MSME workshop series was formally inaugurated by Sri APM Muhammad Hanish, IAS, Principal Secretary, Industries, Government of Kerala. The workshop was handled by Sri G.S. Prakash, Joint Director at MSME Development Institute, Thrissur. He discussed in detail about the various programs and policies of the Ministry of MSME. Today, in the MSME Workshop Series 2, we are fortunate to have Sri S. Hari Kishore, IAS, Director, Industries and Commerce, Department, Government of Kerala. Sri S. Hari Kishore, a postgraduate from IIT Kanpur, is an IAS officer of the 2008 batch, Kerala cadre. He has worked as Executive Director of Kudumbashree. He was District Collector of Pathanamthitta for 2 years. In fact, I was the Regional Manager of State Bank of India during that period, and I don't know whether Sir remembers. I had a lot of opportunities to to interact with the district administration and doing SBI, a lot of CSR projects there, especially in the area of drug abuse. I remember those good times when he had done a wonderful job as district collector of Pathanamthitta. Sir was director ST Development Department for 2 years and various other key job roles in government of Kerala. Presently, Sri S. Harikishore IAS is working as Director of Industries and Commerce Department with additional charge of Director, Information and Public Relations Department. Interested in general administration, public policy, teaching, writing, and travel. He has authored 2 books in Malayalam, Ningalkum IAS Nedam and Unnatha Vijayathinu 7 Vazhigal. Contributed articles and columns in leading magazines and dailies. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my proud privilege to introduce and welcome the chief guest of MSME Workshop Series 2, Sri S. Harikishore IAS, Director of Industries, Government of Kerala. And also I warmly welcome Sri Nishant, Deputy Director, Industries. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to welcome the other delegates also, Bala, who are present here?
Yeah. Yes, we have our own management committee members, past presidents, and also the registered delegates. My proud privilege again to warmly welcome them on this 27th evening when I think everybody is relaxing at home, enjoying Hartal after a very, very long time. Warm welcome to one and all present. Thank you.
Thank you, Bala. I can understand you've just woken up and setting your day. So obviously things have to fall in place. Thank you so much for that. And good evening once again to our chief guest of the evening, Sri Harikishore IAS, Director, Industries and Commerce, Government of Kerala. Sri Nishant, Deputy Director, Industries Department. All the past presidents whom I can see here, Mr. S.R. Nair, Mr. Rajmohan Nair, Senior Vice President Nirmala Lili, Vice President Mr. Balakrishnan, KMA-MSME Forum Chair, Mr. Balagopal, other MC members, members of KMA and other LMAs, registered delegates for this workshop, and invited guests. This year, as we all know, we have had many activities, though not clearly specified to target the MSME segment, were quite relevant and meaningful for the segment in its contents and flavor. As you know, KMA is engaged in conducting meaningful events to help businesses and professions in the state of Kerala, thereby keeping the entrepreneurs and business leaders updated on the new development in the processes, deployable technology, funding and financing models, as well as statutory compliances related to each one of them. MSMEs form a major part of our membership as it does to our state's industrial charts. This sector has been recognized as the engine of growth all over the world, and in India, they are recognized as a major contributor in the economic growth and said to be the backbone of the Indian economy. In the past, it has proved and provided resilience to ward off global economic shocks and adversities. Kerala has the 12th largest number of MSMEs in India, generating employment for approximately 45 lakh people. Both the central and state governments, as well as our financial institutions, have very many schemes and policies to protect and encourage this all-important segment of business. However, in spite of all the so-called support measures from various institutions, that too with very good prospects worldwide for this segment, the Indian MSMEs have been subject to many constraints and most of them not really getting the wind beneath their wings. They in general lack up-to-date information on various critical factors and the support systems available for them and are often unaware about the latest technologies present in the global market. Many a times, they lack managerial skills, entrepreneurial knowledge, and most importantly, technology-intensive education to run a competent MSME. KMA does regular events for the MSME segment, which includes seminars, workshops, and summits, where we bring the MSME stakeholders together and discuss ways and means to enrich, encourage, and to enlighten them. Currently, with the concerns and difficulties brought in by the COVID pandemic and its after effects, MSMEs are almost at a standstill, barring a few in certain sectors. Central and state governments have introduced many schemes to help the segment tide over the crisis, and the banking sector also has got many packages to revive and revitalize the needy stakeholders. However, most of these benefits or schemes are not reaching the right hands, nor are they aware of most of these offerings. It is in the wake of this situation that KMA had organized an MSME summit, as Bala was mentioning, on the eve of the World MSME Day on 26 July as the inaugural event of the MSME Forum's activities this year, inviting all the MSMEs from across the state and explaining to them the various schemes and policies brought out by central and state governments, as well as offerings from the banking sector. We had 3 learned speakers representing all these 3 institutions, explaining in brief the various packages offered by central and state governments, as well as the banking schemes available between the 3 of them. The highlight of the summit was the presence of the Honorable Minister for Industries, Law and Coir, Sri P. Rajiv, to whom we could present some of the points that came up in the summit flow for his consideration, and also submit these as a document later to his office as well as to our Chief Minister's consideration. The Minister also addressed us and shared the new government's vision and plans, maybe for the first time at that time after he assumed office. He spoke at length on responsible investment and responsible governance. It was indeed a befitting coincidence that it vibed well with the annual theme of KMA, spearheading responsible management. But what came out loud and clear in the MSME summit was that there were a lot of grey areas in all these offerings that are available from various sources to cater to the MSME segment, and a detailing of each of these was badly needed. Hence, KMA decided to have individual workshops focusing on the schemes and policies offered by central and state governments, an exclusive session to explain the banking packages and offerings, as well as another session on handholding the MSMEs on the new trends in technology and how to do effective networking of all stakeholders of the MSME ecosystem to engage and empower them by connecting them to governments, corporations, trade bodies, and all partners worldwide, thus making them a part of the global MSME community. First of this workshop series, conducted in July, had the central government schemes and packages being explained and deliberated in detail by an authority on the subject from the Government of India, Ministry of MSME, Sri G.S. Prakash. During that session, we also had the Principal Secretary to the Government of Kerala for Industries Department, Mr. APM Muhammad Hanish IAS, addressing us and sharing his views and thoughts on the way forward for our MSME community. Today, we have the second session in the series of MSME workshops with yet another senior officer who can guide us on the state government schemes and packages and policies for supporting the MSME segment. We have with us Sri Harikishore S. IAS, Director of Industries and Commerce, Government of Kerala, who is also the Vice President of the Kerala Institute of Entrepreneurship Development. We also have with us Sri Nishant, Deputy Director, Industries Department, who will explain the various schemes and also will be here with us to answer any of your queries or clarification. Let us use the session to understand from the senior officials some of the existing as well as the latest measures opted by the Government of Kerala in giving a helping hand to the sagging morale of the MSME stakeholders, and also raise any of your doubts or concerns pointed to them to help find any solutions to your questions. Now, to start the formal workshop by introducing the session and the distinguished speakers of the session, and also to moderate the Q&A from the delegates, we have our Managing Committee member and our Chairman for Government Liaisons Committee, Mr. K. Harikumar, to take over the proceedings. For those of you who need to know more about Mr. K. Harikumar, he is currently the Managing Director of the Travancore Cochin Chemicals Limited, a state government enterprise where he turned it around into one of the very few profit-making PSUs of the state. Prior to this position, he was CMD of many central PSUs, including Hindustan Insecticides Limited, HIL, where he was Executive Chairman and the Managing Director for more than 10 years. A recipient of an award from the Prime Minister for Excellence in Public Sector Management, Mr. Harikumar is also presently the President of Cochin Chamber of Commerce. Our own Managing Committee member, Harikumar sir, over to you to start the proceedings.
Thank you, President, and thank you, Bala, and a good evening to all for taking part in this second session on KMA-MSME workshop series, and a warm welcome to the Chief Guest, Mr. Harikishore, Director of Industries and Commerce, and all the past president, members of the MC, EC, and dear friends. Before we get into the workshop, which is basically meant to give insights and explanations on various state government schemes and policies to help the SMEs. For the benefit of the speaker, I think already Madhav as well as Bala has already told the genesis of this KMA-MSME forum. So I'm not getting into that. I will just harp on the current session, which is on the Government of Kerala initiatives. See, as already discussed, KMA understands that MSMEs play a vital role in the economic development of Kerala. KMA also understands that due to a plethora of reasons, like limited land availability, location, comparatively high manpower cost, and mindset issues. Yes, we also have mindset issues on that. Large industries which require acres and acres of land is very difficult to come up in Kerala. Then the only growth driver for the economy in Kerala is the MSME. As this session is basically on Kerala government initiatives, let me walk you through the size and dimensions of MSME here, though Madhav has already touched upon it. See, we know that Kerala is the 12th largest MSME and with almost around 24 lakh units, which employ 45 lakh people. It is the biggest employer after agriculture. MSME, apart from giving jobs, also does some social functions like rural and backward area development, upliftment of the marginalized section, reduce the regional imbalances, ensure equitable distribution of wealth, so on and so forth. In the first meeting, we also discussed as to whether economic package is the only way to drive growth and whether pandemic is the only reason for negative growth as economy had been coming down even before the pandemic, and whether COVID only accelerated the growth, accelerated the downslide. Now coming to Kerala, because of the sheer importance of this sector, we need to discuss on some aspects like whether package is the only thing which the government can offer, whether ease of doing business which the government has announced has been understood by the common man, and whether it has reached where it should, that is, whether it has reached the grassroots. How far are we from our goal of improving the ranking in ease of doing business? From 20th to somewhere in the top 10 which the government is aiming. And that too, after Government of Kerala has implemented almost 237 out of 301 modifications suggested by the center. And when the state government already got the facility to draw an additional amount of more than 2,000 crores as loan, and Kerala is only the 8th state to get this. Let us also look at the challenges the state is facing on improving the ranking and making Kerala the hub of a vibrant MSME sector. See, whether the question basically we have to ask, I would just harp on one or two questions, whether the local bodies are still playing spoil sports even after the MSME Facilitation Act 2019 has already simplified their process and the entrepreneur has a 3-year window to get the licenses. Whether the saga of Sethu Madhavan's of Midhunam, all of us remember the Midhunam movie wherein Sethu Madhavan, a small-time entrepreneur, where Mohanlal portrayed the role, he was finding it extremely difficult to start a small enterprise. We also have to see whether it is true that there is a gap between the announcement and implementation. Is there any merit in the complaint of the industrialists that the centralized scheme of carrying out checks on industrial unit is not getting implemented? Is it also true that many trade unions have not even understanding the changing scenario? Recently, 2 days back, we read in the papers about a labor unrest in the National Paints in Angamali, where around 14 people out of 70 demanded a 100% wage increase. And the management came out saying that they will never invest in Kerala. These are the questions. These questions have been posed just to put things in perspective, as not only we need schemes, we also need proper implementation of the schemes. We also need the right socio-political environment to drive growth. And unless all these aspects are put in perspective, it becomes a scheme alone will not be able to drive the growth. Now, to tell us about the various initiatives Government of Kerala is taking, the schemes, the policies, the amendments to the Act, the financial support, and how to bring about a change in the mindset, we have an young dynamic officer, Mr. Hari Kishore of the 2008 batch. He has already been introduced by Bala, so I'm not getting into it. I can only say one thing. We are going to hear more and more about this IAS officer in the future. He has earned laurels as the ED of Kudumbasri and, as Bala said, as the district collector of Pathanamthitta. For the brevity, I'm not getting into all that. Before I hand over the stage to Mr. Hari Kishore to tell us about the initiatives, let me say that we have many entrepreneurs operating in the MSME sector attending this session. This would also be a right platform to communicate the initiatives to them, hear their side of the story, so that in case any mid-course correction is required, that can also be brought in. Any questions to the Honorable Speaker, as well as any questions which you require are important to be addressed, kindly put it in the chat box so that it can also be taken up. Let us once again say that KMA is committed to partner with the Government of Kerala in spreading the message of initiatives we receive here today. Let us together make Kerala a desired investment destination. The stage is all yours, sir. Welcome to KMA, Dr. Sri Hari Kishore, IAS.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks to KMA for inviting, and I'll be presenting along with Mr. Nishant. Nishant is my deputy director. We have got a small presentation here. We thought we will have a small presentation, and if any elaborations are required on the schemes, etc., Nishant is here, and also to answer specific queries, he will be supporting. So this is the framework, and yeah, this is the presentation on programs, policies, and schemes of Government of Kerala for MSMEs. This is a broad presentation, and the flow of thought will be, I'll be explaining or touching on what is MSME, what are the policies adopted by government to facilitate, especially to give licenses, what are the broad policies adopted by government towards infrastructure development and to support MSMEs. Then we will briefly touch on about the support systems, whether it is in marketing or whether it is in any other form. Then we'll come to the core topic, what are the subsidy schemes. I have just mentioned the schemes in 2 slides, and I thought it is not easy to explain each and every scheme. It's already there in the website, but still we will introduce you all to the subsidy schemes. And then I mention about a couple of special projects and some future plans. So this is the broad flow of thought in this presentation. Now, what is MSME? Earlier, everyone was saying that most of the audience here are either owning an MSME or working with MSMEs, etc. So as per the latest definition by Government of India, from 1st of June 2020 onwards, MSME is this. A micro enterprise is one where the investment is up to 1 crore and the turnover is up to 5 crore. Yes, that is small enterprises 1 to 10 crore and turnover up to 50 crore. And medium enterprises are those with an investment of 10 to 50 crore and with a turnover of 50 to 50 crore. So this is the definition as per the amended Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Act of 2006 by Government of India. And as per this definition, we have 1.46 lakh MSMEs in Kerala. We have a small portal, and in that portal, we have MSME registration. So as per the data available in that portal, we have about 1.5 lakh MSMEs, and the data is not perfect because of COVID. The updation was not perfect in the last 2 years. So once we update everything, I hope that there will be about 2 lakh MSMEs in the state. So that is a broad framework of what is MSME and what is the overall picture in Kerala. Now, about facilitation or licenses, the last government from 2016 to 2020, these big changes happened in the state. I invite your attention to point number 2. Kerala Investment Promotion and Facilitation Act 2018. This was enacted, amending 7 Act and 10 rules so as to create an enabling environment. And Kerala MSME Facilitation Act 2019 was also enacted. And the result is, for MSME, license is not required for 3 years. So this legislative arrangement was done. Once this law is in force, we also have a parallel system to make it operational. That is called K-Swift. K-Swift is a platform which most of you or all of you will be aware or are aware that once a person who wish to start an MSME apply online, an acknowledgement certificate of K-Swift is only required, and there is no need of any other license for the next 3 years. After 3 years, within the next 6 months, the entrepreneur will have to take license. To implement K-Swift, there were some issues in the field. In previous seminars, etc., we were listening that there are some objections from local bodies, etc. So, Honorable Minister himself conducted a review meeting of all the local body presidents and secretaries, along with Minister for Local Bodies, and now things are improving. So anyway, K-Swift is a revolutionary platform introduced by Government of Kerala, and through this act of Kerala Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Facilitation Act. The second legislation is the Single Window Clearance Board. There is a Single Window Clearance Board in the district and also in the state level. So the Single Window Clearance Board at the district level will, next slide please. Yeah, the result is no license is required for 3 years, and K-Swift is now expanded for renewal also. Now coming to Single Window Clearance Board, the result is there is a district committee for single window clearance of applications for investment up to 15 crore, and then there is a state committee for investment up to above 15 crore. So these are the result of this legislation, and these are the key facilitation available for MSMEs enacted by Government of Kerala in the last 5 years. So this is one aspect. Next, please. Now we'll touch upon other policies. The broad policy of government is to support industrialization by forming industrial estate or development areas or parks. There are more than 150 such industrial parks in the state. There are 3 agencies or 4 agencies. Director of Industry is one agency, DIC, we call it. Then KSIDC, Kerala State Industrial Development Corporation, is another agency. KINFRA, Infrastructure Support Agency, is another agency, and SITCO is there. So all these agencies put together are managing more than 150 industrial parks in the state. And we are in the process of improving infrastructure in some of the parks. And the policies which government is taking are listed below. In addition to parks, government is now thinking of vertical parks. It's called multi-storage gala. It is commissioned in a place called Edayar, and in Alapi, Punnapra, and in Thrissur, Pudakkalpadam. In these 2 places, new vertical spaces are coming up. All these industrial parks will be having facilities like waste, water management, effluent treatment, etc., depending on the need. So this is one approach, one key policy which government is adopting. Then another 2 big policies in the pipeline are the Unified Land Allotment Policy. 2 rounds of discussions are over. There are some issues with industry functioning already in the industrial estates. There is some ambiguity in the exit policy, and there is some ambiguity related to land lease versus land ownership. So everything will be solved when the new land allotment policy will be, the order will be issued. Then another new policy, which is again in the pipeline under consideration, is the private industrial park policy. As I mentioned, there are 150 industrial estates by the department, managed by these 3 agencies. Government is now thinking of starting private industrial estate. If a private player is coming up with land, why not support that particular individual by providing some subsidies? The subsidies are not decided. The mode of operations, nothing is decided, but we submitted a draft paper. Already there is an existing government order of private industrial parks, and we submitted a report to improve it. And once it is considered, I think it will be considered by October. So from October onwards, we will be having private industrial parks, and all those who are here, you are all most welcome to start a private industrial park of your own. I think up to 15 acres, private players can start a park, and more than 15 acres also, there will be some clause. So this is another policy. And KINFRA is focusing on dedicated industrial park for food sector, seafood sector, spice sector, etc. And there are many dedicated parks. Electronic park is there, life science park is there, to mention a few. And also many other infrastructure support to MSMEs is there in the way of corridors and dedicated parks. So these are the broad policies adopted by government for supporting MSMEs, whether in infrastructure or whether in licensing. Now we'll come to my core job, the support system. Director of Industries is responsible for providing support system to start MSMEs. We do a lot of industry promotion programs. Every year we do an awareness program for those who are willing to start or those who are desirous of starting MSMEs in the state. Now our awareness programs in the local body level have started. There will be classes to all those who are interested. Then there will be block level awareness programs. Then there is an EDP session for 15 days. This will touch various aspects of starting enterprise, starting from managerial aspect to financial aspect to taking bank loans, etc. So a person going through all these cycles, once attending an awareness class, he or she will be getting a general orientation. So after attending EDP, he or she will get a broad picture of how to start an MSME, etc. So awareness programs is one support system. Then President of KMA was mentioning about technology upgradation. So we are thinking of starting technology clinics. Our first technology clinic was day before yesterday, where we are thinking of introducing new technology to MSMEs. We have set a target of 10 technology clinics in this financial year, state level, and also we have given a target of 2 technology clinics to my district offices. So suppose in Ernakulam district, my district officer will be conducting 2 technology clinics. He will take 2 sectors where maximum number of MSMEs are there. He will introduce them to new technologies by tying up with various organizations. We are having our next technology clinic tomorrow, where SIPET is taking class to all those who are running or starting or continuing enterprises in plastic recycling and related sectors. So that is another support. Then government recently launched a commerce mission to provide marketing support and to ensure progress. First meeting of the commerce mission is scheduled tomorrow at 11 a.m., chaired by Honorable Principal Secretary Alangovan sir. And all the advices, all the suggestions which will come up in the commerce mission will be converted to programs and policies, especially aiming at marketing, export, and related areas. Then we have a lot of systems for interactive sessions, whether it is B2B, B2C, exhibitions, trade fairs, etc. We have an organization called KBIP. It's a Bureau of Industrial Promotion, and we have some earmarked funds for conducting exhibitions, participating in B2B meets, organizing B2B meets, depending on the need of the hour and depending on the demand from the industry. The problem is COVID. Because of COVID, nothing was happening in the last 2 years, and online meetings have their own limitations. However, we hope that we will be able to actively start all these programs, that is participation in national or international exhibitions and trade fairs, bringing the best from the field to Kerala for B2B, etc. We can do that. Then, of course, there is a government system for MSME awards. There are entrepreneurship development clubs to support students. And these are the support system which we have as a part of activities of directorate. Next. Now, this weekend, most of the government departments are making their services online as a part of a broad goal set by Government of Kerala to make our services online. And under that broad umbrella, our department is also making all the services online. So that is happening. So suppose industry director is giving LOG licenses. So that will be online from 2nd of October. So that way, this is a supportive system. And government is also thinking of starting an open utility software marketing portal for MSMEs. Already Amazon is there, Flipkart is there. There are many global, national and private platforms, but this initiative is also there. Then there is a Facilitation Council. Facilitation Council, the biggest role is delayed payment. If there is a delayed payment for an MSME, somebody has delivered their goods, but the person failed to give back the money. So then he can give complaint to MSME Facilitation Council. It is chaired by Industries Director. And once, this is a quasi-judicial body where once an order is put, after listening to both parties, once an order is issued, then in order to give an appeal, they have to remit 75% of the amount. So that way it is slightly binding, and this will help MSMEs a lot. So this is another system which we have. Then recently, last week, a grievance redressal committee, an ordinance has been issued. The order is not issued, the detailed order will come. Once this grievance redressal committee will start functioning, then I think a lot of complaints by MSMEs can be easily solved, as this is a quasi-judicial body with a lot of powers, and the meetings are fixed. There will be meeting by district collector on the first working day of every month. Then there will be a state level committee where there will be compulsory meetings every month. So this will be addressing the problems related to MSMEs, whether it is related to formation, licensing, financing, etc. So this support system is also there in the government. Then we have an organization called KEED with the mandate of providing incubation and also to set up entrepreneurship development center, etc. And once the activities are full-fledged, I hope that there will be enabling environment supported by KEED. So these are the support system in general. I touched about policies, infrastructure, program, support system, everything. Now next slide will be subsidy schemes. These are the enabling environment, but now we have a lot of subsidy schemes. Subsidy schemes are by Government of Kerala and also by Government of India. I'll just touch upon these schemes because details are there in the website. And if somebody wanted to avail any subsidy, then the first touch point will be my district office, where the general managers of district industry centers, they will be well aware of all the scheme, and they will be able to advise each and everyone depending on the investment, depending on the turnover, depending on the volume, etc., which scheme to opt. So first scheme is ESS. We call it ESS, Entrepreneur Support Scheme. It's the most popular scheme. And I am supposed to give a subsidy of 90 crore this year. And subsidy for capital investment up to 30 lakh is the key highlight of this scheme. Once we get a new government order, I think this will be enhanced to 40 lakhs. Details, if required, Nishant will be explaining. Then there is another scheme for nano enterprises. Nano enterprises are with 5 lakh capital, and if they are availing bank loan, then 6 to 8% interest subsidy will be there. Then also the bullet point number 2 is the interest subsidy to nano enterprises. Bullet point number 3 is the capital subsidy to nano enterprises, where up to 3 lakh subsidy will be provided to nano enterprises. Those small enterprises will be able to get a lot of help using these two schemes. Then another scheme is a scheme for revival and rehabilitation of defunct MSMEs. So this is a bank-linked scheme where if they are approaching bank for restructuring or for additional financial support, then we have some support system for this. So these are 4 important subsidy schemes. I have one more slide on that. Next, please. Then there is Government of India scheme of PM-EGP. This is a bank-linked scheme where 15 to 30% of the project cost is given as subsidy directly to bank account through from Government of India. The application is processed online, and our district general managers are monitoring, and they are enabling, and they are supporting in implementation of PMAGP also. Another Government of India scheme is Prime Minister Formalization of Micro Enterprise, that is PMFME. This is only for food sector. There is something called ODOP, which I mentioned here. ODOP is one district, one product. They have identified one product for each district of the country. So in Kerala, 14 districts are there. There are 14 products available. For example, it could be tapioca in Kollam. It could be, it is coconut oil in Kannur. It is coconut products in Calicut. So that list is there. Those enterprises in this particular sector will get up to 35% subsidy, but there is a limit of 10 lakhs. So there are two limitations. One is the product has to be in that particular ODOP scheme, and also 35% limiting to 10 lakh is there. So this scheme is there, introduced, and we will be able to provide subsidies under this scheme. And PMFME scheme is also having another component where if a self-help group member, self-help group is Kudumbashree in Kerala. So if a self-help group member is starting an enterprise in food sector, then they will get 40,000 seed fund per member. So if five people are starting an enterprise, they will be getting 2 lakh rupees. Already proposal is received from Kudumbashree to give subsidy to about 800 members. So that will be a good subsidy and support scheme for MSMEs in food sector for those enterprises started by SHG members. Then there are schemes for handicraft sector, and also I presented only schemes rolled out by Directorate of Industries. KSIDC is also having some schemes for women entrepreneurs and also for startups. So these are the financial support schemes. Both interest subsidy and capital subsidy is covered, and details are always available in the website and also with our GMs. And Nishant is here to support if any details are required. Next. Yeah, finally, some special projects are also there. Due to COVID, all the MSMEs are either suffering because of shortage of raw material, or because of lack of market, or because of non-functioning of MSMEs. So a Vyavasaya Bhadrata package, this was announced last year. Now a new government order has come where this is extended to December 2021. So it is still live. Any MSME taking a loan, it could be a term loan, it could be a working capital loan. 50% of the interest portion will be met by government, limiting to 60,000 per loan. So an MSME can get 60,000 for interest subsidy for interest portion for a term loan, additional 60,000 for a capital loan. So 1.2 lakh will be the support from government towards interest. So any loan availed by MSME during this period will get this support. So this is a special project. Another special project is cluster development program. So if some people are willing to come together as a cluster and they wanted to purchase some common infrastructure. Recently in Trivandrum, puppet cluster is coming. So all the people who are manufacturing puppet, they formed a consortium. They wanted to purchase some equipments. Up to 15 crore support will be there. And we have 12 clusters in Kerala. I have a list, and the variety is there. We have a list ranging from rubber cluster, plastic cluster, terra tile, plywood, rice mill, furniture, wood, general engineering, offset printer, furniture, etc. So in addition to that, we have steel furniture. Then latest one is a puppet cluster. So if more clusters are coming from district, we can support them with financial support for purchasing of equipments and construction of building for the common infrastructure. So that is another scheme. Then MSME is the solution for generating new employment, and that is a need of the hour. So in order to encourage people to start more MSMEs, we are thinking of a new campaign. As I mentioned earlier, we have a system of providing general orientation to the people at taluk level and also at local body level, and those who are interested will be provided further handholding. So we wanted to do it as a campaign this year. It is not finalized, but the goal is to start about 30,000 MSMEs this year. And the employment generated will be about 5 times, maybe 1.5 lakh. It could be more also, depending on the sector. So we wanted to start a campaign and to support a handholding system for more MSMEs. And above all, I wanted to highlight that Honorable Minister, to have a good start, he started a program of Meet the Minister. He is personally visiting the districts and spending one full day in all the districts. We are all going. From morning 10 to 1, there will be complaint redressal. People can come directly with complaints. And next Meet the Minister program is in Palakkad on 30th of this month. Already 9 programs are over. This is the 10th program. After lunch, Minister is meeting the media, Minister is meeting MLAs, and in the evening, Minister is meeting investors. So there are 4 meetings in a day, and the progress, we put it in public domain. It is in my website, where how many complaints are received in Trivandrum, what are the complaints, how many are solved, etc. Details are there in public domain. So this is also another initiative to get direct feedback so that policy formulation can be definitely those which are really required in the sector. Next. Yeah, this is it. And future plans, these are bucket list or wish list. We wanted to convert our district industry centers to district industry facilitation center, where more hand-holding and facilitation will be provided to industry for licensing, for getting license, for renewing license, for addressing their needs, etc. Also, we wanted to support, start MSME clinics in all the districts, where if an MSME wanted, or if a unit wanted to get some assistance for increasing exports, or if they wanted, if they have some problem and they wanted to restructure their bank loan, or if they have some issue regarding marketing and they wanted to get some external expert support. So in all these cases, we are thinking of providing them support by starting MSME clinic. Please don't ask me how, because the discussion is going on. We have some idea, but this will be fine-tuned in the coming days. Then another need which we felt is the need to transform micro to small, small to medium, etc. So a person with a turnover of 1 crore should make it with turnover of 50 or 200 crore in the next 5 years. So how to do this? We need to devise strategy. This is a future plan. Then any input you are mentioning, the president was mentioning about the note given to minister. Please give a copy to me also. And any input from the industry, MSME, we will be taking it up and we will convert it into policies, programs, and schemes, because this is a department where the key role is to facilitate. Just like I was director of tourism earlier. So in these 2 departments, tourism and industry, the role of the government is to facilitate, to act as a partner, to support. So that way, we welcome all the inputs. We also are thinking of industry internship programs. So these are the future plans. And next slide is the last slide. Yeah, thank you all for listening. And thanks to KMA for the invitation and initiative. And even though the topic was subsidy schemes, I thought it is not relevant to give so much detail, because details in a speech you may not be able to decipher, or people may not catch. I have given the gist, and if somebody is interested in knowing the details, Nishad is here to support. And that's it from me. And thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking us through various schemes which has been announced by Government of Kerala. And I think I was very right in pointing out that we are going to hear more and more about you, basically because you have understood the basic issues which are facing the MSME sector. Because earlier we have been hearing that MSME faces a lot of structural issues with reference to technology, with reference to finance, with respect to marketing, and with reference to even acquiring talent. But I find that you have addressed all these issues with reference to the technological issues. You said you're coming out with the technology clinic. With reference to marketing, you said you're coming out with a commerce mission, and you are starting an interactive mission, and you're coming out with a marketing portal. We are coming out with an MSME Facilitation Council, And with reference to funding, you are coming out with entrepreneurial support scheme, capital subsidy, interest subvention, margin money, revival and rehabilitation. So basically, you have gone through the entire gamut of problems which are facing the MSME sector. So I really compliment you as well as the entire directorate for understanding the basic issues. See, basically the issue which has been facing is generally the public perception is people don't try to understand the issue, then they come out with a unilateral solution. But in this particular case, you have really understood the entire issue and you are coming up with the solution, which itself is a very, very welcome thing. But in this question, I have only one thing to, one basic thing to ask is generally there is a perception that government takes out, brings out policies, but at the implementation level, at the grassroots level, at the district industries level, or at a lower level where it has to be implemented, there is a lack. If there is a lacking in the implementation willpower to get it implemented. You have any comments on that?
Yeah, I will answer. So there are a couple of other questions also. We'll answer every question together. Government's job is to take policies or adopt policies. Legislature is making laws. Cabinet is framing policies, and it is a job of the director to implement it in the field level. So one gap which we felt in the district level is we have district industries office in the districts and a small setup system in the taluk level. And when we divide, there are 59 taluk offices. And I mentioned that there are about 1.5 lakh industries. So about 700 industries, MSMEs coming per taluk. So it is very difficult to handhold at this level. So that's why we wanted to strengthen the system so that the facilitation really happens in the grassroots level. So we will take care of that. And we are committed to implement this program and to take the policies and programs to the people. Now, Mr. Rajiv or Kamath asked about ODOP. ODOP is a scheme of Government of India where one product is decided for a particular district. And we have some 50 resource persons. We expected that they are all well versed about the scheme and they will advise people. They will encourage already industries, those who are in food processing sector, to avail the benefits of this scheme. Mr. Rajiv or Kamath is mentioning that my resource persons and the support system is not very clear about the details of the scheme. We will do that. We will conduct a review meeting and we will guide them and we will identify if there are any gaps. Then, as per the new rules, service sector comes under MSME. Yes, that is correct. As per the new rule, service sector is also an MSME, and KSADC has not accepted it. We'll take it up with Rajamanikam and see what can be done. And it is a new development. Till now, only manufacturing is MSME. Now, service sector is MSME. A beautician is MSME. So in Kerala, the scope is very high for service sector. Compared to manufacturing, Kerala is known as the hub of service sector. So the expansion in the basket of MSME is too big, and we'll discuss with KSIDC on that. Then Shilpa, we sent a message saying that they are a key player in inland water transport and not getting any MSME benefits. And I would suggest Ms. Shilpa to please either look at our website or please have a word with our district industries officer. So these are the schemes. Some schemes are bank loan linked. Some schemes are only for a new loan. Some schemes are for a fresh loan. So there are different categories. So once we go to the details of each scheme, we will be able to advise you on which is the scheme that will be really suitable for you. And Arun was mentioning about cluster program. Yes, we wanted to start a lot of clusters. At least 2 clusters per district is what we are aiming at. And maybe Nishant can explain more about the cluster schemes.
Yes.
And online platform and all is really challenging. It's not easy. I have done it as Executive Director of Kudumbashree. We started an online platform, and it has got a lot of challenges. We will try that. And retail stores, no, we are not taking up retail stores because to start an MSME, entrepreneurs sometimes don't require government support at all. So that way, at present, that is not there. And PDF of the presentation is already given to KMA. It is uploaded by KMA. So somebody wanted a copy of the presentation, you can either put it in the chat box or you may please share it to others. And we have a plan to have union-free industrial park zone where we can employ our own workers without any fear of disruption. Ipo nokukuli illa, and it's an offense. It's a criminal offense where there is no negotiation. Only police will take legal action. For the legal situation. Maybe since Nishant is also here with me, I request Nishant to answer these two questions. On the cluster question, cluster തുടങ്ങണമെങ്കിൽ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം അതൊന്ന് പറയാം. അതേപോലെ ODOP കുഴപ്പമില്ല, അത് they are in inland water transport if there is any scheme. Maybe I request Nishant to say a few words. Is that okay, Mr. Harikumar?
You'll be, because in case there are any specific questions to you, can you take up before going?
Yeah, I have answered all the questions which are in the chat box, and details.
Somebody wanted to know about the Kudumbashree, because Kudumbashree has set up many units in the tiny sector, and somebody wanted to know whether that is a replicable model for other states also, because it talks about even women empowerment.
Okay, there are a lot of queries, and the feedback is our scheme is not really functioning. Let me see. So yeah, I'll answer Mr. Narayanan's question that how often the MSME Council meets. We had a meeting last week. This month we had a meeting. We had a meeting the previous month also. So normal frequency is monthly meeting. Now it was not meeting in the last 1 year because of COVID. Now we have restarted the council sittings, and now many cases are coming up. There is also a proposal to have 3 such councils so that we can handle more cases. The proposal is now with the government. It is in law department. If it is cleared, then we will be having 3 MSME facilitation councils in the state in addition to the council chaired by director. So which means we can take up more cases of delayed payment, and the answer is monthly meeting at present. There are many cases. There are more than 400 live and running cases in MSME Facilitation Council. Nishant, does bakery comes under MSME? You may have to answer. It is a service sector. Very well. Then Vyavasaya Bhadrata interest subvention scheme is not functioning properly.
Mr. Nishant is muted.
Yeah. Sir. And procedure to start up cloth bag stitching unit and air conditioned services. The procedure is simple. If you can do self-registration in the case portal, that is enough. And to Mr. Harilal's question on Kudumbashree units, Kudumbashree is basically self-help group. So there are about 3 lakh self-help groups in Kerala with average for 15 people as members. So the philosophy of Kudumbashree is one woman will represent her family. So it's a group of self-help group of women with 45 lakh members. So these 45 lakh members, the goal is poverty eradication and empowerment. And empowerment can happen only if there is livelihood. So in Kudumbashree, the encouragement is to start livelihood activities, and Kudumbashree members can start enterprise units. They also give skill training. They also provide small subsidies. But most of the units set up in Kudumbashree are small units with small capital investment. A capital investment of more than 10 or 15 lakh is very rare. So that is the difference between MSMEs in general and Kudumbashree MSME units. Yeah, Prashok, if you have 35 lakhs receivable from corporate customers, you can file a case in MSME Facilitation Council. We will call you will be the applicant, and we will send a notice to the respondent. It will take, practically it may take 2 or 3 sittings. In the first sitting, the respondent may not come. We will repeat the notice. In the second sitting, the respondent may come and he will present something. And maybe in the third sitting, he may not come. We will issue ex parte orders. So that way, please, Ajit is the contact person. Nishant can share the details in the chat box. Now over to you, Nishant. Since I requested you also to come, you should also speak a few
Thank
words.
You, Thank you. I think the queries, most of the queries have been addressed. Like bakery, does bakery comes under MSME? Bakery comes under MSME, and the main thing is our schemes are not exclusively for all MSMEs. Like our main scheme, ESS, Entrepreneur Support Scheme, is meant for manufacturing enterprises, and some other schemes are available for manufacturing as well as service sector enterprises. Retail trade is not addressed in major schemes. So if the bakery is also manufacturing something, some food products, it will be eligible for our subsidy schemes also. Then
yeah, bakery can apply under PM-EGP, right?
PM-EGP is possible. If
bakery, up to 10 lakh support they will get.
Yeah. So shall I elaborate some of the schemes, some are major schemes, if they want?
Nishant, one second. I MSME in government tender would apply. Yes, there is a price preference for MSMEs in the state. 15%. Yeah, 15%. If the bid submitted by MSME is 15% deviated from the L1, then preference will be given to MSME. There is a detailed government order where this much volume will be given to MSMEs at that particular price. So that is valid and that is still there. I think Kerala Medical Service Corporation is giving a lot of such orders to MSMEs. So Nishant, yeah, you can elaborate. So Harikumar, Nyanana Poikote. Any other?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You spoke wonderfully well. And I don't want to hold you back in case you are in a hurry. So I think formal vote of thanks and all that. President, what do you say?
He's in a hurry. Let him proceed. Really nice of you to have taken all those questions from the chat box directly, and the enthusiasm with which you answered. I'm sure the delegates also really appreciate that. That's why they're also coming back with fully satisfied. Thanks to you. Really good that we had a session like this, and you yourself took on those questions rather than giving it to somebody and saying that look into that. Wonderful session and really candid, and it was really appreciated by all the members. There's a memento which will come to you, sir. There's a token of your presence here. That's the actual one. It's not just a digital one. It's a real one, which is actually showing that you are here today. Thank you so much, sir. And we look forward to a continued support. And please let us know if KMA in any ways can be your a tool in the facilitation center setting up, or your marketing portal setting up, or anywhere where we have huge resource of experienced people who are here, who are seasoned management professionals who are here. Wherever we can be of help to you, please let us know. So we'll work hand in hand, and after all, our objective is to help the segment and our members also. So we'll be there with you in your journey. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. It will take 6 months for us to settle down.
Thank you.
Nishant, may please take it forward.
Yeah.
You can start with questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
So Nishant, you can probably talk about some schemes, like you were talking about the unified land allotment policy, private industrial park policy. That also you can speak. I think you are muted.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, now you are audible.
Okay,
right.
okay. I think, sir, already covered most of the schemes, but I think I need to go to some of the major schemes in
please.
detail. Shall I present it or?
No, whichever way you want, you are comfortable. We are okay with that.
The department's major scheme is I mean, they thought something like 60% of the plan fund goes to entrepreneur support scheme. Entrepreneur support scheme is a major flagship program of the department. Somebody asked about MSMEs. You know, MSME already covers manufacturing as well as service enterprises, but in this entrepreneur support scheme, manufacturing enterprises are given assistance. So it's about fixed capital investment assistance. Like all the fixed capital investments are made are considered for given subsidy, like investment in land development cost, building, plant and machinery, electrification, office equipments, pollution control devices, waterized equipments. Like all the fixed capital investments are proportionate to fixed capital investments. Subsidy is given. It's not completely bank linked. It can be bank linked, or if not, if there is no bank loan, also you will get the benefit. And the assistance is given in 15 to 45% of the fixed capital investment. So for general categories, the assistance will be 15%, limited to 20 lakhs. 15% of the total fixed capital investment. Then for young entrepreneurs, like aged between 18 to 45, then women entrepreneurs, SC, ST entrepreneurs from that category, the assistance is 25% of the total fixed capital investment, limited to 30 lakhs. And then priority is given to some of the enterprises in priority sector, like food, agro and food-based industries, ready-made garment manufacturing, completely export-oriented enterprises, like plastic recycling enterprises. Those type of industries are given priority under the scheme and will be given a 10% additional subsidy, limited to 10 lakhs. Then some districts are considered backward in this scheme, like Idukki, Wayanad, Kasaragod, Pathanamthitta. So enterprises established in those districts will be given an additional 10% of the additional 10% subsidy, limited to another 10 lakhs. So up to 15 to 45% of the fixed capital investment will be given as subsidy for subsidy under ESS. Also, there is one more component like technology support. If any industry acquires some technology, new technology from approved research institutions, they will be given 10% additional subsidy, limited to another 10 lakhs. So it's I think you understood what the quantum of assistance is given. Like priority sector means rubber-based industries, agro-based and food processing industries, then industries manufacturing equipment and machinery for non-conventional energy generation, biotechnology-based industries, 100% export-oriented industries, biodegradable plastic industries, plastic-based recycling industries. Like these industries comes under priority sector. Also, some negative list is also there. So somebody asked service enterprises. In ESS, all service enterprises are listed under negative, so they won't be eligible for subsidy. Then breweries and distilleries, sawmills, soap grade sodium silicate manufacturing units, metal crushers, including granite manufacturing. Those enterprises are under negative list, so won't be considered for ESS. So the application processing is, you can apply online for the entrepreneur support scheme. The link is available in our official website, industry.kerala.gov.in. You can www.industry.kerala.gov.in. In that website, you will get the link for link to apply for the ESS, and it's a simple application form, but you have to based on the fixed capital investment you are claiming, you have to upload some documents for the support of those claims. So the detailed bills and all those things, plan estimates, like that, if you are climbing the building and land, like that. So the applications will be received by general manager concerned, and there will be a district level committee for scrutinizing the applications, and it will be convened monthly or as the application comes, some bi-monthly, it always happening. So the district level committee will be sanctioning the applications, and as I said, it's a major scheme of the department, and we are always having the funds available with us. So this is about ESS. And somebody asked about cluster development scheme in the chat box.
Yeah.
A second. Cluster development scheme, I think you'll be having, you can have all the details from the district industry center itself. It's a cluster means there should be a minimum 20 micro small enterprises units. Only units under micro and small categories included in the cluster development program. So there should be a minimum 20 MSE units and undertaking the same type of activity. They can form a cluster, and the support will be provided from the district industries itself, and there will be a cluster executive officer for each cluster if it is realized. So the components under the scheme includes like CFCs, like Women Facilities Service Centers, like Women Production or Processing Center, then Training Center, R&D centers. They can be combined to reduce the cost of manufacturing. So there can be a raw material bank, like a common sales depot, common logistics center, like that. They can plan if they can based on their requirement, they can propose anything from this these components, and the government of India will be paying 70% of the total project cost, maximum 20 crores for the through the MSA CDP program. 75% of the total project cost. The state government contribution will be 20% of the total project, and the promoter, I mean the cluster, have to contribute 10% of the total project cost. This is about cluster development program, and I think you can get the details, complete details, and the further supports like trust building and all those things. You will get the help from the district industry centers.
Thank you, Nishant.
Yeah.
So basically, generally what everybody has understood is there are no shortage of programs, there are no shortage of policies, and the government is very keen to support the MSME. But only thing is the last mile connectivity, people are a bit afraid because many people think that even the officers at the executing level are either not aware, or officers at the executing level are not making people aware about the various schemes. What can be done so that this gap is bridged?
I think unlike other departments, we have a wide network. There are one industries extension officer in all the block panchayats or municipality or corporation. If you are planning an industry or MSME in some remote area or some like corporation area, you will be having an officer exclusively for your issues, taking up your issues. So then there is Taluk Industries Office. In every taluks there are Taluk Industries officers, and after that only, as you know, DAC is there. District Industry Centers are there in every district. So I think there will be enough support from the officer side. Like there is a very wide network. Network is there, but if there is any specific issue, non-cooperation from the officers, we'll be taking it. And the scheme size, what I said, some are recently introduced, like some unlike ESS, some schemes are recently introduced. Like somebody was asking, whether the interest subvention scheme is not functioning properly. I don't know what exactly he was mentioning. Like you can simply apply through online. Like the ESS, there is an online portal for the same. It's also available in the official website. It's simply, like it's a COVID-related package scheme. If somebody took a bank loan, fresh or additional bank loan, term loan or working capital during the period 1st March of 2020 after 1st March of 2020, he can simply avail the interest subvention. At present, it's only for 6 months, and the amendment is going on, and you'll be getting for 1 year total 50% of the total interest paid will be given as interest subvention, and that's simply easily accessible. Apply means you can simply apply through the official portal, and for any help, specifically if you are facing any issues, you can directly contact me. Like the name is not mentioned. Name is not
Your
mentioned.
number also has been posted by Mr. Harikishore in the chat box. No, but
I will
one
also.
more- Yeah, please.
I will also give you my number also.
It has been given. It has been given.
Okay, okay then.
No, but
For any,
no, apart
please.
from all these schemes, how does the department ensure that the right socio-political climate also is generated? Because schemes alone are not going to bring in investments. People also should have the perception that, okay, there is a right socio-political climate also.
You know, there was issues, but I think it's a lot of initiatives from this government. As recently, a lot of initiatives have been taken, like the Meet the Minister program. As sir already said, it's the minister personally comes to all the districts. More than 7 or 8 programs already conducted at district level. So, already somebody said from non-cooperation from districts, you can simply inform the minister directly. So, a grievance redressal mechanism is just generating. So, like it's some legislation needs to be done. So, it will be launched soon. So, also already said some facilitation acts. You know, already there is a facilitation act for ease of doing business. For 3 years, you don't need to take the license or clearances like that. All these are running from the past 1 or 2 years only. So there will be a change. Let's hope for the best.
Thank you, Nishant. See, actually, this Small Business Administration had conducted a study wherein it was shown that 20% of the business startups fail in the first year. And by the year 10, only about 33% survive. What can the industry do to ensure that the mortality rate is low and more industries survive?
Can you please repeat the question? I didn't get the last part.
There is an independent study which says that only 20% of the business startups survive the first year. And almost by the year 10, almost 33% only survive. How do we ensure, like we talk about reduction of infant mortality, how do we ensure that the survival rate in the case of MSME is more?
Okay. You know, most of the issues, like the destination of our schemes should be how to successfully launch a project comes if you need proper guidance, right? എല്ലാ തരത്തിലുള്ള പുതുതായി വരുന്ന സംരംഭം പ്രോപ്പറായിട്ട് തന്നെയാണോ ഇതിലേക്ക് വരുന്നത് എന്നുള്ളതാണ് വിഷയം. പലപ്പോഴും exclusively industries department is for promoting MSMEs. There are very wide variety of activities. But ഇതിലെല്ലാത്തിലും ആദ്യമേ തന്നെ ഒരു പ്രോപ്പർ ഗൈഡൻസ് ഈ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽസ് പുതിയതായിട്ട് വരുന്ന അപ്കമിങ് എന്റർപ്രൈനേഴ്സിന് കിട്ടുന്നുള്ളതാണ്. നേരിട്ട് പലപ്പോഴും ഇതിലേക്ക് എത്തിപ്പെടുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. പ്രോപ്പറായിട്ട് ഒരു ഗൈഡൻസ് ഇല്ലാതെ എന്താണ് ഇപ്പോ നമ്മുടെ തന്നെ ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ MSME ഫെസിലിറ്റേഷൻ ആക്ട് പ്രകാരമുള്ള 3 year നമ്മുടെ ഒരു സിമ്പിളായിട്ട് നമുക്കൊരു സെൽഫ് സർട്ടിഫിക്കേഷനോടുകൂടി ഒരു യൂണിറ്റ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ, ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ആ ഒരു സെൽഫ് സർട്ടിഫിക്കേഷനോട് കൂടി ഒരു യൂണിറ്റ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആൾ മിനിമം കുറച്ച് റിക്വയർമെന്റുകൾ ഇതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് സെൽഫ് സർട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻ കൊടുക്കുമ്പോഴും അദ്ദേഹം തുടരേണ്ട കുറെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ അതിൽ പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. അത് ഉറപ്പുവരുത്താതെ സെൽഫ് സർട്ടിഫൈ ചെയ്ത് അങ്ങ് തുടങ്ങുന്ന ഒരവസ്ഥ വരരുത്. അപ്പൊ വേറെ എന്തെല്ലാം മിനിമം റിക്വയർമെന്റ്സ് അതിൽ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ സെൽഫ് സർട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻ കൊടുക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നുണ്ട് ഇതുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് 3 വർഷത്തിനകത്ത് ലൈസൻസ് എടുക്കാൻ കഴിയണം എന്നുള്ള കാര്യം. അപ്പോ പലപ്പോഴും 3 വർഷത്തേക്ക് ലൈസൻസ് ആവശ്യമില്ല എന്നുള്ള ഒറ്റ കാര്യം കൊണ്ട് അത് ഈസിയാണ്, തുടങ്ങാൻ ഈസിയാണെന്നുള്ള ഒറ്റ കാര്യം കൊണ്ട് നമ്മൾ എന്റർപ്രണർഷിപ്പിലേക്ക് വരുന്നതല്ല. വരുമ്പോൾ അതിന്റെ എല്ലാ സൈഡും പഠിച്ചിട്ടാണോ ഇതിലേക്ക് എന്റർപ്രണർഷിപ്പിലേക്ക് എത്തിയെന്ന് കൂടി കൂടുതൽ നമ്മൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. പലപ്പോഴും ഈ ഒരു പ്രോപ്പർ ഗൈഡൻസ് കിട്ടുന്നില്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നത്. ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മള് വകുപ്പിന്റെ തലത്തിൽ കുറച്ച് കൂടുതൽ ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ്സ് വളരെ റീസെന്റ് ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിൽ ഗവൺമെന്റ് തലത്തിലായാലും മിനിസ്റ്റർ ലെവലിലായാലും ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ് തലത്തിലായാലും നമ്മൾ സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോംസ് കൂടുതൽ എഫക്റ്റീവ് ആയിട്ട് ഇപ്പൊ യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. സ്കീംസിന്റെ കാര്യങ്ങളും കൂടുതൽ ഗൈഡൻസ് എത്തിക്കുന്നതിലും നമ്മൾ ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ ഫേസ്ബുക്ക് ആയാലും ഇൻസ്റ്റാഗ്രാം ആയാലും യൂട്യൂബ് ചാനൽ തുടങ്ങിയ കാര്യങ്ങളിലേക്കെല്ലാം ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ എത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ കൂടുതലായിട്ട് ഇത്തരത്തിൽ സ്കീംസും ഇതിന്റെ റിസ്ക് ഫാക്ടേഴ്സ് കൂടുതൽ ആൾക്കാരെ അറിയിക്കുന്നതിലും കൂടുതൽ ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ്സ് ഇപ്പൊ എടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് അതിലൂടെ പ്രോപ്പർ ഗൈഡൻസോട് കൂടി ഈ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്സിനെ നമുക്ക് പ്രൊമോട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഈ ഒരു റേറ്റ് നമുക്ക് പരമാവധി കുറച്ചു കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ കഴിയുമെന്ന് പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ അതിനേക്കുള്ള പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ കൂടുതൽ നമ്മൾ ഇത്തരം വിഷയങ്ങൾ ഇത്തരം ഇതിലൂടെ മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്ന വെച്ചിട്ട് കൂടുതൽ മെച്ചപ്പെടുത്താൻ ശ്രമിക്കും.
അടുത്ത ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ, MSME ഓർഗനൈസേഷന്റെ കസ്റ്റമർ MSME അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവർക്ക് പേയ്മെന്റ് കിട്ടാൻ എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ സപ്പോർട്ട് കൊടുക്കുമോ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ്, ഡയറക്ടറേറ്റ്?
അല്ല, ഇതില് MSME ഓർഗനൈസേഷന്റെ ആണെങ്കിലാണ് നമുക്ക്, അതായത് MSMEയിൽ നിന്ന് കിട്ടാനുള്ളതെന്നുള്ളതല്ല.
അല്ല, MSMEയുടെ കസ്റ്റമർ നോൺ MSME ആണെങ്കിൽ
അത് വിഷയമല്ലല്ലോ. ഒരു MSMEയുടെ പേയ്മെന്റുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടല്ലേ ആക്ട് വരുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ അത് I think it will be covered in the Facilitation Council.
And it is covered, I know that it is covered, but it was a question which I had to address. That also is covered. Where is the question ചോദിക്കാനുള്ളത്? I think we are running short of time. I think, Madhav, this can be the last question, right?
Yeah, I think we'll wind up. Yeah.
Okay. This can be the last question. See, കേരളത്തിന് ഈ ടോപ്പ് പെർഫോമർ ഓണർ കിട്ടി, സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് റാങ്കിങ്ങിൽ 2019 കിട്ടി. അത് ബേസിക്കലി IT ആൻഡ് IT എനേബിൾഡ് സെക്ടറിലായിരിക്കും. അതേപോലുള്ള എന്തെങ്കിലും റെക്കഗ്നീഷൻ, കൺട്രിയിലുള്ള നാഷണൽ റെക്കഗ്നീഷൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും നമ്മുടെ മാനുഫാക്ചറിങ് സെക്ടറിലെ MSME സെക്ടറിന് കിട്ടാൻ വേണ്ടി എന്തെങ്കിലും പുതിയ ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്താൽ നമ്മുടെ ഇവിടെ ഈ ഗവൺമെന്റ് ജോബിലുള്ള ഡിപ്പെൻഡൻസ് കുറച്ച് കേരളം ഒരു എന്റർപ്രീനിയറിയൽ സൊസൈറ്റി ആയിട്ട് മാറ്റിയെടുക്കാൻ പറ്റൂലേ?
യെസ്, അത് തന്നെയാണ് ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനമായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ ഒരു ആവശ്യം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അത് തന്നെയാണ് എംപ്ലോയ്മെന്റ്, സെൽഫ് എംപ്ലോയ്മെന്റ് കൂടുതൽ പ്രൊമോട്ട് ചെയ്യുക. അതിനു വേണ്ടി തന്നെയാണ് നമ്മളിപ്പോ കൂടുതലും നമ്മുടെ ഒരു നേരത്തെ സാർ പറഞ്ഞു പോയെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു ED ക്ലബ്സ് പോലത്തുള്ള ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ്സ്. അതായത് ആസ് പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് ദെയർ കരിക്കുലം സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ആർ ഗിവൺ ദി ഇനിഷ്യൽ ഇൻപുട്സ് അബൌട്ട് ദി എന്റർപ്രണർഷിപ്പ്. സോ ED ക്ലബ്സ് എല്ലാ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻസിലും പ്രൊമോട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ അവർക്ക് ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ സപ്പോർട്ടും ഈ ED ക്ലബ്സിന് കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അതുവഴി വളർന്നു വരുന്ന തലമുറയിൽ എന്റർപ്രണർഷിപ്പിന്റെ പ്രാധാന്യം കൂടുതൽ മനസ്സിലാക്കിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. ഇതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് ED ക്ലബ്സ് റൺ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അത് കൂടാതെ തന്നെ ED ക്ലബ്സിന്റെ ഫർദർ സ്റ്റെപ്സ് എന്ന നിലയിൽ നമ്മൾ കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷം പ്രോഗ്രാംസ് സംഘടിപ്പിച്ചിരുന്നു. കൂടുതലും വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളെ ഇതിലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവരാറുള്ള, എല്ലാവർക്കും PSC ജോബ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നതൊന്നും എന്തായാലും പോസിബിൾ അല്ലല്ലോ. അപ്പൊ ആ രീതിയിൽ കൂടുതൽ, പിന്നെ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മൾ അതിനുവേണ്ടി എക്സ്ക്ലൂസീവ്ലി സ്റ്റാർട്ടപ്പ് മിഷൻ ഉണ്ട്, അവരുടെ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അത് കൂടുതലും IT റിലേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഇൻഡസ്ട്രീസിൽ തന്നെയാണ് വരുന്നത്. എനിവേ നമ്മൾ എല്ലാ വർഷവും നമുക്ക് ഒരു മോർ ദാൻ 15,000 MSME യൂണിറ്റ്സ് നമ്മുടെ തന്നെ ഒരു ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ്സോടുകൂടി തുടർന്നതായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ എല്ലാ വർഷവും വരുന്നുണ്ട്. അതിലൂടെ നമുക്കൊരു മോർ ദാൻ 55,000 എംപ്ലോയ്മെന്റ്, ഡയറക്റ്റ് എംപ്ലോയ്മെന്റ് നമുക്ക് അതിലൂടെ കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ അത് കൂടുതൽ ഈ രീതിയിലുള്ള ഇപ്പം ഒരു റീസെന്റ് ആയിട്ട് തുടങ്ങിയിട്ടുള്ള ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസിലൂടെ കൂടുതൽ നമുക്ക് മെച്ചപ്പെടുത്താൻ കഴിയുമെന്ന് തന്നെയാണ് പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ ഈ ഒരു രീതിയിൽ തുടക്കത്തിലെ തന്നെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിലെല്ലാം ഈ ഒരു ഇൻജെക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന രീതിയിലുള്ള ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് നമ്മൾ കൂടുതൽ മെച്ചപ്പെടുത്തണം.
Thank you, Nishant. And over to you, President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harikumar sir, and thank you, Mr. Nishant. Indeed, a very fresh lease of approach, I must say, with a lot of sincerity and compassion from both the officials. Of course, Mr. Harikishore was very, very sincere and candid in his approach by taking up all those questions from the chat box itself and answering, and Nishant also going at length in explaining the schemes and showing that approachable attitude that itself shows a kind of a new beginning of reassurance and confidence being given to the parties on the other side. That is, of course, the MSME segment here for today. It's really wonderful to have both of you here, and this is just a beginning, and I'm sure the delegates who have registered and who have come in as guests have had a very useful and enriching session, must have got some of their queries answered, and most importantly, the officer himself has given all the numbers, including his own number, for the delegates to contact and get their queries and concerns answered, and that's indeed a very welcome sign from the government side, and I'm sure this session also would have helped them a lot, the way in which we have intended it to happen. Thank you so much, Mr. Nishant, and before I hand it over to our Senior Vice President for the formal vote of thanks, let me just make a quick announcement that we have had a very hectic September actually so far. So many programs happening, and that reflects in a back-to-back program coming up immediately tomorrow evening, that is September 28th at 6 p.m. we have the next of the Leader Talks lecture series coming up. This is going to be a very interesting session, which is going to be addressed by Mr. V. Ajit Kumar, the Managing Director of Kerala Rail Development Corporation. The hot topic of now, the K-Rail, and he's going to talk about K-Rail as calling it as a silver line project of Kerala. We are seeing some unexpected, objections from the opposition. I mean, who are supposed to be with all these kind of developmental activities now, but they are up in arms against K-Rail, saying that it's going to divide Kerala, and all kinds of controversies coming up on that. So we have the man himself coming in, Mr. Ajit Kumar, the Managing Director of Kerala Rail Development Corporation, coming to talk us about K-Rails and explaining why he is calling it the Silver Line Project of Kerala. That is tomorrow, the Leader Talks lecture series at 6 p.m. with the Program Committee Chair, Mr. S.R. Nair. So before that, before we move on, let me ask our Senior Vice President and a senior professional in the hospitality industry, Ms. Nirmala Lilly, to come forward and propose a formal vote of thanks to the speakers as well as all the delegates present here. Over to you, Ms. Nirmala. You're muted. Nirmala, you're muted. What happened? You're not able to unmute yourself? I'm just putting in a yeah.
Now I can, yes, I got it. Okay, thank you, President. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks to this MSME workshop series session 2, a workshop indeed given insight and explanation on the state government schemes and policies to help MSME sector. Chief guest Sri Harikumar IAS, Director Industries and Commerce Department, Government of Kerala, and yes, he left, and President officially proposed a vote of thanks to him. And Sri Nishant, Deputy Director, together given us a very educated and enlightening session in various aspects of MSME. They covered the policies, license, infrastructure development, and opportunity in industrial parks, a support system, and subsidy schemes, and special projects and the future plans. They covered everything, future plans for the industry and the Facilitation Center. And then there are various questions also asked by the members. Everything has been answered, and like implementation level, lacking implementation level. Yes, that is a question raised by our own Mr. Harikumar, and OP and service sector is coming under MSME, and they spoke about cluster programs. And yes, Mr. Nishad highlighted on the major schemes and COVID packages, social, political climates, everything covered. And then recognition, till then we heard a lot. It is indeed a highly informative and enriching session. And we would like to profusely thank in the absence of our Sri Harikumar IAS and Mrs. Nisha. Thank you so much for your kind presence and helping all of us understanding many things. Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Harikumar, Managing Director, Travancore Cochin Chemicals Limited, our Managing Committee member. It was your performance as a moderator was definitely scintillating. Thank you for the brilliant introduction of the guest and the topic. Also asking very relevant questions for the benefits of our participants. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And yes, MSME Forum Chairman, Mr. V. Balagopal, our Managing Committee member. Thank you for organizing and welcoming the gathering. I'm looking forward to having more and more such sessions in future. Yes, our Mother Chandran, Mr. Very energetic, enthusiastic, and effervescent president, offered our proficiency, expert, and expressed the interest in working with the government and extended all possible backing. Thank you, President. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank all the management committee members, past presidents, and distinguished guests. And thank you so much for your esteemed presence and support to KMA. And thank you, Secretariat, led by Mr. Jojo, Executive Director, Padma Kumar, Bridget, and other members. Thank you once again to all of you, and good night. Back to you, President.
Thank you so much, Nirmala. Let me just acknowledge the presence of one of the senior past presidents, Mr. O.T.S. Nambiar. I couldn't see him when I was acknowledging the presence of the past presidents. I can see him there, even though the light is quite dark there. You know, he is there. Past President O.T.S. Nambiar, thank you so much, sir, for being there from the very beginning. And thank you, Bala, for being there in spite of the fact that you are sitting in the US on a holiday and arranging this meeting. Let's look forward to the next one from the banking sector also at the earliest, so that we can complete the commitment which we made to the MSME segment, that we will be conducting those workshops for all the three segments of the institution supporting the segment. Thank you so much, all of you, and thank you, Harikumar sir, once again for a brilliant performance of getting the best out of the speakers. And thank you, Nishant, he's still there. Convey our thanks and gratitude and everything to Mr. Harikishore for being there and being so sincerely there, I must say, and in trying to answer all the questions and helping the delegates present here, and also for the future commitment that he is there to support in the case of any need from any of the MSME members who are present here or otherwise. Thank you so much, and thank you, delegates, for being there in spite of our holiday mode, Hartal, back to action, normalcy coming into Kerala, as the trolls say. So be there tomorrow as well at 6 o'clock. See you all.